Welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. Today's guest is one of my favorite career pivots ever. She went from studying chemical reactions as a PhD chemical engineer to creating human transformations that spark extraordinary businesses and lives. She calls herself a retreat engineer, and honestly, I'm obsessed with that title 100%. Through her Done For You transformational retreats, she helps leaders create deeper connections, bigger impact, and new opportunities without getting buried in the planning of the details. Lord help me, I need that. If you've ever wondered what's possible when vision meets intention, you're going to love this conversation 100% again. Please help me welcome the incredible Lori McDowell. Welcome, Lori.
Hi, Angel. I'm happy to be here.
I'm super excited to have you. I love this. A PhD chemical engineer to transformational lifestyle, business, everything. Okay, tell me what happened. What sparked this? Like,
I when I think back to like my childhood, I think this is where I was meant to be. And yet, it's funny because I can remember being in high school and deciding like to go to college. And my choices, I was very choose. I was going to either go to a college, a liberal arts college, and be a fine arts major, or go to an engineering school and be a chemical engineer. It was quite the very differences. And I think, I chose security and money and something that I knew had a career path. And well, I did love it, but I feel like it wasn't, maybe I had to go through that, but I feel like this was where I was meant to be, and that, if I had to do it all over, I would probably start here.
yeah. And tell us about your company and how it actually happened. How did you become the transformational coach?
Sure. Yeah. I had a job and I ended up losing that job, and that's another story. Yet when I realized I didn't have to go to work anymore, instead of being like horrified and devastated, I was actually like kind of relieved, and I felt free. And it was kind of like, wow, now I can do what I'm meant to do. Not that I like knew what that was at the time. I still wasn't sure, but my first thought, I had a friend who had just wrote a book, and I'd always said, I always wanted to write a book, and I never had time. So I was like, well, let's write a book. We have time now. And as I was writing that book, I was figuring out what, it was a book, but it was also helping me reinvent myself. And I realized the things I loved, even in my old job, were the interactions with people, were the way we changed lives, were the planning and the events. And I love speaking at conferences and such. So I put that all together. And over a period of about a year and a half, I was coaching and speaking, and realized that transformation and making a difference and creating experiences were really the things I loved. And yet my engineering background made me really good at planning and details, and putting them together, I just created the business that I had.
That is amazing. So tell us about your business and what exactly you do, if you don't mind.
Right. Yeah, I do. Like, in some ways, I do everything that has to do with the retreat. So it incorporates, basically, if someone thinks they might want to have a retreat, or they had a retreat and they weren't happy with it, we have a talk, and I coach them first on like, okay, should you have a retreat? And if you should, what type of retreat should it be? So we kind of do the big planning, what's the outcome? So I help them kind of coach them through the process. And then I do the location, come up with some locations they might want to have it at. Once we pick the location, I do the logistics, looking at, venues they can have it at, hotels, Airbnbs, retreat centers, resorts, come up with some that I think will work in their budget. We pick it. Then I have a travel agent. I work with a travel agency, so I'm a travel advisor. So I book it for them and deal with all the logistics of that. And then either help them fill it, help them market it, help them basically get the retreat full and get people there. And then at the retreat, either myself or someone on my team will come and we help facilitate it. We also do like the assistance, making sure the food's ready, everything's good, the bathrooms are clean, like all the details. And then we actually will help them with sales. We do kind of back of the room sales if they're selling an offer from the retreat. So really, everything that's got to do with a retreat, we can do for them so they can just show up and bring their magic and not worry about anything but helping get their community get the experience they want.
So let us do our magic and you do your magic.
Exactly.
Basically, that's it. I love that.
Uh-huh.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. You're the magic wand girl that I feel like you just poof it and it just like we walk in and we shine like the amazing people that we all are.
That's the experience I want my clients to have. Like they show up and they get everything they want. So yeah, it's funny. I did a retreat last year in Honduras, and we went there and it was election day, and we didn't realize that on election day all the restaurants are closed. So we're at this place this night and we're hungry. Nothing to eat. No place is open. Everybody's like, well, we can go to a grocery store. We'll buy. And I was like, no, let me figure it out. And I ended up finding someone who had a friend who owned a restaurant who came and opened it up just for us. And everybody's like, you had to open up a restaurant just for our group? So yeah, we do that. I do my magic so that you feel like you've just walked in and everything's perfect.
I love that. I love that. You know your magic and your transformation you can do. I love that. All right. All right. What would you write a letter to your younger self and tell her?
I would tell myself to not worry about what everyone else tells you and what you're supposed to do, and just listen to, your heart, your intuition, and do what you want to do. You're in charge of your life, and nobody knows what you know about it. So be you and do what you want to do.
I have a friend, she always says, be you, boo. And I'm like, okay. And she's right. Each
Mm-hmm.
one of us are individual and unique, and we have to do who we are 100%.
Right. Yeah. There's all these people like that. They say you should do this and they say you should do that. And like nobody really knows who they are. They're just this group of people that have decided what's best for everyone. You should get married. You should have a college degree. You should do this. Like, who are they?
Who are you? That's funny. All right. Let's talk about a key decision or habit or strategy that you deal with so many entrepreneurs and business owners. What is it like one of those game changers that has possibly changed them and helped their business grow or even helped you?
Yeah, I think it helped me grow, and it helps my clients as well. Is to stop comparing yourself to and your business to anyone else. Like people come to me all the time, like, "Oh, I should be further ahead by now," and it's like, "Well, why?" Because so and so is. It's like, well, but you're not so and so. And the funny thing, people always compare up. They never compare down. They never say, "Wow, I'm so far ahead of these people." It's always like I'm not where they should be. So I used to compare myself to other people's businesses too. And when you stop comparing yourself, you stop worrying about, where you should be in your business or how many clients you should have, and you start to do what actually you're meant to do and what feels right. So that comparison could be deadly.
It- definitely, definitely deadly because you're not that person, and they
Right.
might be. You don't know what's really going on behind the scenes. You
Right.
only see this image.
You see the perfect image and you think they're so amazing. Yeah, and I've found that when I see these people and then I get to know them, I was like, oh wow, you're pretty ordinary. You have a really cool thing you do, but there's nothing that special or nothing amazing. You have the same problems and issues.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And we're all a little unique and quirky, and I love that about us. It's just
Mhm.
that some people vision that they give off or image they give off is up here, and where other people go, I want to be like that. But do you really want all the stuff going behind the scenes too? Because they're
Mhm.
different. You might have a different life. You might have a different path.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's so true. Now, we talked about decision strategies and that. What about the mindset of entrepreneurs? What is there one thing that you wish they would just kick to the curb and stop believing?
Oh God, there's so many. Um, I think the one thing, and it's kind of, you know, I work with a lot of heart-centered entrepreneurs, and their mindset is, I want to give, I want to give, I want to give. And they do that often by, lowering their prices and giving stuff away. And that's not the way to give to run a business. I mean, the way to give is to run a business and make lots of money and then give it to people who really need it and give it to places that are true to you. And like even in my retreats, we do that. I call it the give back effect, where we actually, every time I do a retreat, I recommend that people take a portion of it and give it to a local charity where the retreat is located and actually do some kind of an activity with that charity, whether it's, like we were in Fiji and we spent the morning at a orphanage playing with the kids and hearing what they wanted to be when they grew up. And that was a great way to give rather than lowering the prices. You raise the price, you give people a great experience, and then you give that money to someone that really needs it.
That is a great tip. I really like that. I really do. Doing that and giving back to other people and other organizations in that area. Because, you might not be in that area that you're having the retreat, but
Right.
given to that community and everything with an influx into there, they're going to remember everybody who gave. And
They
especially
definitely.
if you go there.
Yeah, and it's so much fun when you get to go there because you really get to know you don't get to know just the resort with the nice food. You get to know the place where real people live and what they're going through. And that's like the highlight, I mean, of most of the events when we get to do that, whether it's a beach cleanup or a turtle release or, visiting a women's home. All of those things are the things you remember long after you forgot everything else.
Wow. Okay, total release. Explain.
Well, sea turtles in a lot of the beach areas are, the turtles hatch their eggs and they bury them in the sand. And a lot of times animals come to eat them or people without meaning to will destroy them. So a lot of beach communities will take them and like protect them. So they'll put fences around them. And then when the sea turtles are ready, they actually take the baby turtles and release them back into the sea from where they've been protected. And it's really fun. You get to see all these little baby turtles swim around.
That is so cute. That had to be a fun experience.
Mm-hmm. It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
All right. Talking about experiences in life. Here's the key, because a lot of us are workaholics. Do you believe in balance? And if you do, how do you do and maneuver it around with your personal life, your family, your friends, your business? How do you intertwine it?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if balance is the right word. Like I believe in like I think of a seesaw. Like a seesaw, you rarely ever just sit balanced, and that's no fun to just sit there. But you go like this, and I think that's what there may be weeks where I'm working 20 hours a day because something needs to be done. And then there are weeks where I run off with my family and have fun and do it. So I think it's more, overall it probably balances, but it's really just focusing where you need to focus at the time. And I think you can have a great business without working. You may have to work hard and put a lot of hours when you first start up or when something's coming up. And in general, having a business, I mean, most entrepreneurs started business to have freedom and to have a life they love. So, and then sometimes I love my business. So sometimes I have to force myself to stop it because I want, because I enjoy it. But you can have that balance and have a successful business without spending all your time on work because that's not why you started your business to begin with.
Yep. So I call it the dance because it's a flow. Like you said, I love your seesaw. Oh my God, that is exactly right. It's because it's like sometimes we're doing this and other times we're down and then we got to maneuver. I love that.
Mhm.
All right. Let's give some advice, if you don't mind, to a woman who's sitting there going, oh, I really, really, really want to start a business. I have this job and I just can't do it just yet. I know I belong there. I just don't know what to do. What would you tell her?
I would tell her, to jump, to trust yourself. Now, don't do it blindly. If you know you want to do it, maybe start saving money, start cutting your expenses, look at the things you can live without, because you're probably not going to jump in and start making money immediately. Yet if you never start, you're never going to get there. And you really do have to like jump in and do it at some point. And maybe you do it part time. Maybe if you talk to your company and say, hey, can I switch to part time hours or find a job that's, maybe make you some money, but is less demanding. But I would just say, jump, because for me, I knew I wanted to start my own business for probably 4 or 5 years, really. And I didn't because it was comfortable and I had a good salary and I didn't hate my job. Right. I mean, I loved my job. And then, it got easier when my boss changed and I kind of didn't like my job so much. But it's still, I waited till someone pushed me off the cliff as opposed to jumping. And you're better off jumping at your own time because then you get to decide what happens, and if you don't, you're never going to, there's never going to be a perfect time. So when you're ready, just do it and trust that you'll figure it out.
Mhm. All right. So the next question, I have an answer for you already. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to let you answer it as well, but I have an answer. Okay.
Okay.
You have a woman who she's like on the verge, just like, okay, I've been doing this a while. I'm ready to throw in the towel 100%. What would you tell her?
I would tell her, that maybe it's time, but before she throws in the towel, figure out like what is it that you really hate and what is it that you really love and what is it about you that makes it different, because maybe it's not throwing in the towel, maybe it's folding it a different way or something. So at least evaluate that. And then I would say if you're ready, you should probably do it because you don't want to be miserable. Life's too short to not be happy.
So my answer for you would be, I think that they need to have a transformational retreat for their
Mm.
people and be able to shine in what they do.
That is a great answer, and I could have said that one. I didn't want to like blatantly, but retreats count. Like a lot of the people who come to me for retreats are at that point where they have a successful business. It's paying the bills, it's making the money, it's got to here, and it's just like flat, and they don't love it anymore.
Mhm.
And what the retreat does is it helps them look at their business in a different way, get new life into it, do something different, have fun. Because not only do my hosts give their clients a transformation, but they get a transformation too because they're getting to they're not worrying about all the details on the breaks. They're sitting there and thinking about the exercises. So I love your answer better than mine. So listen to Angel.
I love both of them. I just had an answer for you right away because I can see where that can like put an infusion into the entrepreneur who gives so much back to other people and needs somebody. They still love giving, but they need somebody else to like support them, and you do that.
Yeah, it really can make a difference. Like I said, a retreat really changed my life and my business. At a retreat, and there's a retreat I went to, which I was actually helping with. So I wasn't doing the full thing, but I helped someone run it. And I also participated in all the activities last year. And when I came back, I really was like a different person. Like the stuff that was holding me back wasn't there anymore. And I was able to do things that were uncomfortable. And it just totally changed me too. So that kind of change can happen. And retreats are great for another reason because they're one of the only, if you look at a business, you've got lead generation, and you've got sales, and you've got fulfillment. Those are basically the three main parts of most business. And a retreat is the one place where you can do all three at once because you're getting new people in the retreat, and these are new leads, and then you're selling whatever's next, because it's when you're at a retreat, it's almost a crime not to make an offer because the people had such a great time and just a great experience. You don't want to send them home and say, all right, go, you're on your own. You want them to continue that with you. And then the whole retreat is fulfillment for everyone. So it does all three things at once in a week, as opposed to, or 3 days, as opposed to like years of slogging through the process.
Yep. Oh my God. Love it. Love it. All right. Let's pull back that velvet curtain and give me a sneak peek of what's next for you and your business.
What's next? Well, I'm got a couple retreats coming up of my own that I'm doing, which I'm excited about those. I've got one in Virginia called Unleash Voices for Women. And then I've got another one coming at the end of the year that I'm calling Extraordinary 2027 Renew, Reset, and Rise. And it's all about celebrating 2026 and planning and getting ready for the next year on the beach. It's amazing. And I'm just looking to grow my business. I have some new offers, one where people can, get a retreat included. So they get the coaching, they get the retreat. So they're going to make money. I mean, once they sell the retreat, they're immediately making money and paying back what they pay. So I love that. And then I've got a longer program that's kind of over 2 to 3 year people where people can do multiple retreats and get to a 7-figure business through using retreats to grow their business. Those are all exciting. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's exciting. I love that. I have a retreat in my mind, so I understand. I was like, oh, it's so much fun. All right. So give me something that's unexpected about you that we would go, oh my God, Lori did what? You've already told me one thing. Just
a couple things. One of the things, I love to give back and I love to support nonprofits. And I actually, about 2 years ago, there was a nonprofit that they were having a fundraiser and they called it Over the Edge. And if you raised so much money for this fundraiser, you got to rappel off the Galleria Doubletree Hotel, which was like a 34-story hotel. So I rappelled down the side of a Doubletree Hotel in Houston, which was really fun and really terrifying.
Oh my God, that is way better than the blog you were writing about New Orleans food. That one's way better. Way better. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now I'm super excited. All right. Let's pump up some volume with some music. Do you have a favorite song or songs?
Yeah, I have a couple favorite songs. It's funny because I'm not a big country music person, but some of my favorite songs are in the country music. I love the song I Hope You Dance. Mm-hmm. And I forget who it's by. It's one of the country, but that's one of my favorite songs. And then Miley Cyrus, The Climb is another one of my favorite songs. And then I love everything by Pink. Pink just gets me excited. So I love Pink's music. I mean, I couldn't even pick a favorite. There's so many of them.
Mm-hmm. I do love her. I love it. I love the Alice in Wonderland one with her daughter that she does.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a fun one. Yeah, I went to see her
the name of it.
Flying around the room, and it's like, wow.
I was like, I wonder what it took for her to she had to go through that kind of course or something. That had to be cool.
I'm sure, yeah.
All right. I know you have a book. Do you mind telling us about your book that you have?
Yes. My book is called The Reinvention Mindset. And it's really about people who had horrible things happen to them. And instead of falling apart, they came back and did amazing things, whether it's, start a business that was really successful or start a nonprofit. And I looked at them and saw what did they all have in common and how were they, compared to the people who, something bad happens and they're stuck in it for years. Mm-hmm. And then it's kind of all about, well, you don't have to wait till something bad happens to you. You can have that mindset, that reinvention mindset all the time. And that, like I said, I wrote that book right after I lost my job and was trying to start my business. And I still go back and pull it up. And it's a fun book. It's not serious. You could probably read it in a day or so. And it's easy to read. It's got stories and story about my life and my kids, my son, my family. It's got stories about people I met. And so it's a fun read, I think.
I love that. That's a fun book. I can't wait to read it. Do you have another book that you actually love?
Yeah. One of the other books I love is called Hello Fears by Michelle Poler. And I met Michelle. I heard her talk at a conference, and that's how I met her and read her book. And she was a grad student in a program, and they signed them an exercise to do something every day for 3 months or 6 months, but to do something every day for 6 months and to write about it for this for this course, and she decided she was going to face a different fear every day for this period of time, and wrote a book about it. And it shares her learnings, and it really is put fear in the right, the place where, facing your fears and doing something that scares you really is the way to grow and the way to change your life. And I mean, for her, she became a keynote speaker and an author and did all these things just by facing these fears she had her whole life.
Wow. That is a cool book. I have to read it. I have never read it, and I will read that one. All righty. So, a quote or words to live by?
Yeah. The quote I want to share actually comes from Michelle's book, and it's I'm going to read it. I have it right here, but it says, "We have to be okay leaving the life we are living to live the life we dream of living."
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just so many people have these dreams, but they don't want to let go of everything. And I've been there, and it's like, well, you can't get your dream if you don't let go of what's keeping you from getting your dream.
That's it. That's it. You have to let go of that other part that to get the other. Oh my word, that is so true. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
All right. So what are you guys like holding on to that you have to let go of to get the dream and the vision and what you want? Oh, that is so good. Lori, that is amazing. All right. Fairy godmother, I'm her today. I come down with my magic wand. I tap you on the head and give you a superpower for just 24 hours. What would it be?
I think it would have to be teleportation,
And
because
what would you do?
I would be hopping to all those places I've always wanted to see that take too much time. And if I can get there instantly and spend a couple hours there and then go to the next one, at least I can kind of say I've visited them all and see them and then decide which ones to go back to.
What are your favorite two that you'd go to first?
I would go to the Galapagos Islands. I've always wanted to go there. And I would probably go, I'm gonna give you three. Australia, because I've never been there and it's very far away. And then I would go down to somewhere in Africa where they have really cool safaris.
Oh, oh, yeah, those are cool. Those are 3. I was gonna give you 3, and I said, "Oh, two's easier. She might not have a third," but you had a third. I'm so
Third,
excited.
so
All right. If you believe in motivation, what do you do to get motivated?
I dance. I put on some fun music and I dance, and that just gets you in a good mood. And if ever I take my dog for a walk often and dance while I'm walking my dog so I dance to the music nobody else hears. But yeah, those two, taking my dog for a walk and dancing, are probably the two that motivate me.
Yeah, well, you can see me doing both on the golf course, and you should see the guys are like, like, okay, what is she? She's a wackadoodle job, whatever. All right. What is the best way for our audience to stay in touch with you? And I think you even have a little gift for them or something, correct?
I do, yes. I guess the best way to stay in touch with me is my website, because my website has all the information in there. You can email me or book a call. So my website is yourextraordinarylife.net.
Yourextraordinarylife.net. I love
Yeah.
that. hmm
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a giveaway for them?
I do, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I think my giveaway is called, oh God, I forget the name of it.
Can they find it on your website?
You can find it on my website. They can find all the giveaways on my website, but it's a basically for heart-centered entrepreneurs, how to make 6 figures plus from a transformational retreat. So that's there. And then there's a lot of other free gifts they can find on my website. And then once you sign up for that free gift, you will actually get invited to come to a free workshop that I have every month on that give back effect, where I talked about how to use giving back to make your business profitable and make you and your clients feel amazing. So
All right, so I'm gonna be there. I'm signing up and I'm gonna be there, so I cannot wait to hear what you have to say because that is something on my goal list, just so you know. All right, a final mic drop moment for the female entrepreneurs out there that maybe we didn't talk about yet.
um, Final moment. Yeah, I guess the one final moment that, and it's something that kind of, changed. I think this would happen to me on the retreat that what changed my life is I realized that my business is something that's really important to me and it's really impactful, but it's not even what happens in my life and while I'm running the business that's the most important. It's the ripple effect that I don't even know how, but it's how the things I do, whether it's a retreat or a give back effect, affects somebody that I don't even know and changes their life, and that affects that and that affects that. And I think we all have that. So just as you go through your life, think about that ripple effect you have and how really, what you do today could completely change the world 10, 20 years from now based on that ripple effect. And I think that's what really motivates me to keep going on those hard days. And I love showing other people the ripple effects that they can have.
I love that, the ripple effect that takes part in everybody's life when we give unconditionally.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Lori, thank you for being here. I truly loved having you. What a blessing.
Well, thank you, Angel. It was really great being here. I'm
Thank
excited to listen to this when it goes live.
I know it's going to be fun. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, you have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.